Hello, hello, hello to all of the folks on LinkedIn and YouTube and our Facebook feeds and Instagram. My name is Erin Gruwell. Students call me Miss G. And I have a co-host. And my co-host is none other than Mercio Tony Becerra. Hi, co-host Tony.
Hi, everybody.
Uh,
Thanks for being here.
you're my exact opposite twin. I've got black and
Yes.
white. You've got black and white. Tony, what are you wearing, co-host extraordinaire?
I'm wearing these brand new swanky Freedom Rider shirts and hats where all proceeds go to our scholarship recipients.
Woo, look at that. For those of you that want to look like Tony, God forbid those of you that want to look like me, this is the first time ever. We are doing a scholarship drive with some fun merch. Is that what the cool kids call it? Merch?
Dude, I'm not a cool kid. I have no
We're
idea.
merching it up today. We are merching it up. I've got black. Look at this. Like it arrived yesterday and I just put it on. So I've got the white shirt, the black hat. Tony's got the white hat, black shirt, but turn around ever so gently without not knocking over a
Let's see if you
poster.
guys
Let's
can.
see if we could do that. Oh, look at the back. I just see the freedom. You put the freedom in the writer. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm not going to turn around because I'm clumsy and I knock stuff over. But for anybody that wants to buy a hat, buy a shirt, buy a gorgeous sweatshirt, and many of our Freedom Rider teachers who are going to be joining us today already have. So a special shout out to our Freedom Rider teachers. We gave them a little advance warning, and many of them have already purchased shirts and hats and sweatshirts. So all the proceeds from this merchandise is going to go to our annual scholarship. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to celebrate Freedom Riders. We're going to celebrate scholars. And if you don't have enough money for a hat, a shirt, or a sweatshirt, there's a QR code on the screen. What you can do is you could say, you know what, I'm going to go in my kitchen and I'm going to make a pot of coffee and save $5. And I'll send that $5 to the scholarship fund. What do you think? Tony, on your way to work today, I know you had some traffic. I'm proud of you. You did not go to Starbucks. You had an energy drink. So I'm going to demand of you at some point, you're going to donate $5 to the scholarship.
Oh, yes, because I'm drinking free energy drink. So,
We just got a donation of energy products from Wahoo's. Thank you. So you're donating free stuff. So not that we have anything against your favorite coffee shop. We love our favorite coffee shops, but today take that money that you would have got a frappuccino with extra foam and caramel
Dutch Bros is
drizzle.
expensive.
Yeah, right. Send it to a sweet kid that needs it. Send it to a sweet kid that could benefit from your love and care. So moments before we went live, I got to brag. Freedom Riders always think that Carlos is my little love bug, and he is my son. You'll see Carlos's face on the screen a little later. But Carlos, original Freedom Rider Carlos, wanted to make sure that his donation was shouted to the rafters. One of our recipients this year is Brenda's son, Ernie. And Carlos wanted to donate buying a sweatshirt for Ernie and a hat, a sweatshirt and a hat for Ernie. So I want to say thank you to Carlos. He was our first Freedom Rider of the day to donate. So if there's someone that you love and needs to walk around in some fun Freedom Rider merch, as the cool kids say, if you just want to wear it for yourself, but sometimes when we give our Freedom Riders a big check, we also give them a goodie bag with all kinds of stuff in it. So I love that Carlos said, I want my donation specifically to go to Ernie. So if you want to buy something and pay it forward, a hat or a shirt, we'll get all the kids who are getting the scholarships this year, we'll get their sizes. And you could just say, pay mine forward. And we will send these beautiful high school graduates, yes, high school graduates, off to their prospective colleges, walking around with a Freedom Rider hat or a shirt or a sweatshirt or a combination thereof. So welcome one and all. What we're going to do in about 15 minutes, and every 15 minutes afterwards, I am going to pull a name out of a hat. So let yourself be known. If you're in the chat room chatting away, if you're on LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or whatever the thing is, make sure in the chat room that you declare yourself. Make sure that we know you're there. And if we know that you're there, every 15 minutes, we're going to pull a name and we're going to send you a leather journal. We've got two different leather journals. Tony's is all black and engraved. Mine is white and black. So if you have a preference, we're going to every 15 minutes. If you guys know, we used to start out with the mead. We've classed it up a little bit. I'm still a sucker for mead. But for you, those that are watching, we're going to pull a name. If you declare yourself, so declare yourself. If you also donate live, I'm going to make an announcement every couple of 15 minutes of people who have either donated or bought merch and give you a shout out that you so deserve. So if you are here, thank you. My first shout out was to Carlos. I want to do a shout out to some beautiful freedom writers and freedom writer teachers who have also did the pre-sale. So Sue Ellen, sweet Sue Ellen, freedom writer extraordinaire. She's got a shirt and a hat that is on the way. So thank you, Sue Ellen, for buying a shirt and a hat that you can walk around the mean streets of Long Beach and represent. I want to say thank you to Dawn Paulson, freedom writer extraordinaire. She is a teacher in Omaha, Nebraska. Oh, my girls, my New York sisters, my sisters from other misters, Nancy Rodriguez, Tammy Purrington, Mrs. P, and Megan Abruzzo. The three of them, they come from different cities, teach at different places, but my three sisters all bought a combination of sweatshirts and hats and t-shirts. So to my three girls, thank you. To Daniel Terraza, who is in Truth and Consequences, New Mexico. Thank you, Daniel, for buying some merch, as well as Brent Marlowe in Northern California. And I got a picture from the Silver Fox himself, the very first freedom writer teacher we selected, Bill Fever. Bill Fever sent me a picture of him this weekend with his hat, and he is quite a handsome devil. He said, I got the devil right. And I said, you're a handsome angel. So he is walking around. He's moved from California to Illinois. So he's walking around the streets of Illinois with our Freedom Rider hat. These are brand new. We just made these logos. They're hot off the press. So whether you, and I also want to say to Henry Wright, Freedom Rider teacher extraordinaire. He was our first Freedom Rider teacher to donate in Georgia. So you can see, if you're joining us for the first time, we've got freedom writer teachers everywhere, all 50 states and about 30 countries. And we've got freedom writers everywhere, the OGs. So you're going to be learning a lot about the OGs today. And then our friends, our family, people, when you come into our world, our hope and our prayers that you stay for the better part of forever. So what we're going to be doing in this hour, and we're going to invite you back. We're going to invite you back at 4:00. We have selected some of our freedom writers to highlight over the years their children, second generation, have been the recipients of the Freedom Writer Scholarship. So we're going to be celebrating the OGs, freedom writers who were the first recipients of our Freedom Writer Scholarship, and now sons and daughters, as well as young people that we meet along the way. So this year we have a really robust group of scholars, and we're just going to highlight a few of them today. But if you want to pay it forward for a brilliant kid who needs a hand up, we don't want any handouts, we want a hand up. So, Tony, we're going to celebrate our first freedom writer. She's a mom of three. Yes, three. And all of her kids are Freedom Writer Scholarship recipients. And that is Yadira. What can you say about your sister from another Mr. Yadira before they meet her in a video?
That as like first generation Americans, I think I like, even though some of us were like born here, we don't have that like legacy of like of college, of things like our parents can't tell us how to do things because they never did it themselves. But I think her, like, to her kids, she was that example of like, this is what you guys need to do. This is how you're going to do it. She was that guide and that example. And I think that's why all of her kids are so amazing,
Yeah.
because of her, guiding them through all those struggles.
I love that. When we sat down Yadira at our chalkboard and we asked to make this video. So what you're going to see in a moment is you're going to see Yadira talking about the film, talking about the power of writing in these marble journals, talking about the power of our story transforming. She is terrified of public speaking and she's brilliant, but she pointed something out. She got very, very red. And I feel like I'm Yadira. I feel like my cheeks get really rosy and I break out in hives. So if I break out in hives on this very live, I apologize profusely. But I love that Yadira has passed those fears. Every single summer she signs up for a Freedom Writer Teacher Institute. Every single time we need help, she dedicates herself and her 3 kids, all of them recipients of our scholarship. So I would like to introduce our first video, our first OG Freedom Writer to the screen. This is our sweet Yadira talking about the power of writing and how it was portrayed in the feature film, if that's how you've been introduced to our story. And then I want to show you the doctor, her son, who was one of our first scholarship recipients. So let's check out Yadira bringing our story to life.
The first time I watched the movie, I was like, it can't be. And it's the title there, the Freedom Writers, it's us. And then you hear, Ms. Gruel, Ms. G. I think I had to see it at least 3 times for me to believe that that was real.
Settle down. My name is Erin Gruel. Welcome to Freshman English.
A scene in the movie that I relate to when I'm walking into a classroom and I see these notebooks on the table.
Everyone has their own story, and it's important for you to tell your own story.
To me, it was like another notebook. Like, I'm gonna draw in here, I'm gonna scribble. But she made it really clear, no, this is a daily thing, and we're gonna write our real life stories.
You can write about whatever you want. The past, the present, the future. You can write it like a diary, or you can write songs, poems, any good thing, bad thing, anything.
She brought it out on all of us, on a daily basis. What are you going through as a teenager? And I think for me, writing things down in a diary helped me go on in the future and become someone. I still have a lot of those pages with my original number on there, with the red marks that people would correct stuff in. We're real people. We're not just actors. So we're here and we go around and we talk about, what our experience was. It was hard, but you could get through that, and now look at us. I have 3 kids. I feel like all 3 of them, they want to go now to college and university because of everything we did, because of the Freedom Writers. I just hope that this movie will last for many years to come. They're teens that this will help them. Whatever they could capture, even if it's a 1-minute thing, hey, bring that out and teach them with the movie or with the book.
I want to put on the screen her firstborn child, one of our first scholars. Oh, look at Riddell. Riddell we refer to him as the doctor. And we started referring to him as the doctor in utero, but now he's actually a college graduate. He has been an intern for us. He works with us. If you've come to a Freedom Writer Institute in the last probably 10 years, you've seen that sweet face behind the screens. And also his twin sisters are also Freedom Writer recipients, Clarissa and Brianna, and they are behind the scenes as we speak today, helping us get ready for our Freedom Writer Institute, which is next Wednesday. What is it like to have the next generation in the office working beside us, Tony? And I know that the doctor specifically, he's very bossy. He's very bossy to me. What is it like to have your Freedom Rider OG's sons and daughters doing internships between classes at their prospective universities, bossing us around? What is that like for you?
It's crazy because we like I know he's a grown up now, but he's still like our little kid, our little baby brother. I remember him running around. When we had get-togethers and Yadira would bring him and stuff. And I remember one time they had a flat tire, and he came and he told me, he's like, "Do you know how to change a flat tire?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go do it." And he's like, "Oh, okay, you're gonna change it." I'm like, "No, you're gonna change it. I'm gonna teach you how to do it." And he was like, I think like 12 or 13 at the time, and like now he's grown. He has like a college degree, and he went from being an intern to a recipient of the scholarship to being staff. And now he's like this grown man, and we're just so proud of him.
I love it. I love it. Well, he always reminds me that I'm old, and I know that because when it comes to like the cool lingo, I don't know the cool lingo as you can tell, but he reminds me that once I learn it, it is no longer cool. And he one time told me, "I don't need you for clout, Miss G." Oh, okay, okay. I think when I learned Riz, I didn't even know like what that meant, and he's like, "Don't even bother." There's another time I think I was in search of photographs, and I knew that like proud Freedom Rider moms and dads would have their sons and daughters on their feeds. And I'm sorry, Mr. Zuckerberg, but I asked Snarky Sweet, the Dr. Riddell, to find me some photographs on Facebook, and Riddell looked at me and said, Facebook is for old people. So that is one of our scholarship. I don't know what comes first, the snark and then the scholarship, or the scholarship and then the snark, but something happens. Freedom Rider scholarship recipients, they find their voice. Do you agree, Tony? They find their voice.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, no, he tells me I'm old all the time, just in case I forgot.
I love it. I love it. So on the screen, you're going to see 2 QR codes. You can either donate via the QR code to the scholarship directly, that $5 that you're not going to spend at Starbucks, or you can go directly to the merch and you can purchase a hat, a shirt, a sweatshirt. But I also said that I'm giving away prizes. So Yadira kind of queued up the first giveaway. I want to show you this is like a little fishbowl that we use for prizes when we do our institutes. My colleagues are putting all of your names in the fishbowl. I chose one earlier during the video. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm going to say your name. If you're still in the chat room, we're going to send you either this journal in white or the engraved in black. And the name that I chose for my fishbowl is, drum roll please, Tony, Jesus Holguin. And Jesus, this was not premeditated. You were actually the first one who was in the chat room before it even started. And I was like, oh please, let me pull his name. And it wasn't rigged, but I pulled your name. You were the one, if you could see your name written on my little cue card. So if you are in the chat room, say hello, announce yourself. Some of you have. I want to say hi to OG Freedom Rider Maddie, who is watching from work. She says, hello, everyone. I want to say hello to Moreno Valley superstar from Edgemont, and that is Michelle Sines. Hi, Michelle. She has announced herself. And Jill and Amnon, they are saying hello from Tel Aviv. They are our Israeli teachers. We want you to be safe. We need you to be safe. It's been a really difficult few years. Jill and Amnon have spent a lot of time since October 7th in bomb shelters. And with the recent activity with Iran, I just hope that my dear brothers and sisters are safe. We are sending you love and light, and we can't wait till you are on this side of the globe. They're coming to Southern California in a couple weeks. Please be safe, all of your family and friends. So if you are here, Jesus said, wow, thank you so much. So Jesus, rather than like sending it to you, I'm going to hold this hostage and we're going to go to dinner. I'd rather see your beautiful face. So if you'll have me, I want to come and see you and hand you your present rather than just like sticking it in the mail. But if you were in another state, if you were in another continent, if I pull your name in 15 minutes, and I can't just drive and have dinner with you, then we will send it to you. You can have your choice of all black or black and white. Um, Tony, are you next? Ready for our next Freedom Writer, OG Freedom Writer that we're going to showcase their amazing scholarship recipient, which is their child. Are you ready for this?
Absolutely.
Okay, our next Freedom Writer that we're gonna show off is Melvin Logan. Oh my goodness! In a moment, we're gonna see a little clip from Melvin, but Melvin is your band of brothers. When I send you out to Moreno Valley or to Snowline or to Ukaipa or wherever I send you, when the bat signal comes in and we send you to a classroom, having you and Melvin often together is so magical. So tell us a little bit about your Freedom Writer brother, and then I'm going to cue up his video.
I often tell Melvin, your story is important, right? When you share your story, that's very important. But what's even more important than that is you, right? You standing in front of the class, like working with these kids, like speaking to these kids, because a lot of these kids, they don't have a positive, like, male role model in their life. And then here you come in like a superhero, like with all the things that you've done as a father, as a husband, like as a success. And I feel like a lot of us freedom writers, we have different versions of success. Our success is not being a millionaire. Our success is taking care of the people that we love, being good representatives, being good role models. And I feel like that's why it's important for him to be standing in front of these kids, because these kids have never seen someone like Melvin before. And he doesn't even have to say anything. He can just show up, and that's already huge.
What I have love for all of you fabulous folks in the high desert. We all meet at a coffee shop. Oftentimes we take my little beater car. I have a 2006 Prius. And then we go up that 15 incline. For those of you not from California, it's this gradual incline. And my car sounds like a lawnmower. And Melvin holds on for dear life. and then he transports himself into a room. He's not wearing a cape, doesn't have a shield, but he's truly a superhero. And so what we're going to show you about Melvin is the gentleman who drew the infamous note. Dun, dun, dun. Those of you that are familiar with our book or the movie, the note that was passed around, it was intentionally supposed to bully Sherrod. Melvin was the author. We asked Melvin to sit down, as many freedom writers did as well, to read their stories. And Melvin's story is from the 20th anniversary edition, and he apologizes. So in this little segment, it's just a minute. We took the mashup of him reading the entirety of the story, and we're just going to show you some of the highlights of him reading. But notice at the end, our big, beautiful Melvin gets the lump in his throat, and he's fighting back the tears. And 9 times out of 10, if that story is being read in real time to young people, Melvin actually doesn't hold back the tears. That's the most beautiful thing about him reading that story. He just weeps, as do the gentlemen before him. So let's check out Melvin reading his story in the 20th anniversary.
Hi guys, my name is Melvin Logan. I am one of the original Freedom Writers, and I will be reading Diary 1. Even though it's been over 2 decades since I drew that stupid picture, I remember that day in the drawing just like it was yesterday. But the thing I remember most clearly is the look on Miss G's face when she finally got a hold of it. I can still remember her bright red cheeks and the terrible look of disappointment in her eyes. I certainly never thought of what the consequences of bullying Sherrod might be. It's been 2 decades since I drew that stupid picture. I never got a chance to apologize for it. So here's my chance. I'm sorry. I apologize with all my heart for drawing that stupid picture. I'm not proud of what I did, but that picture sparked an idea. That idea started a movement of its own, the Freedom Writers. And 20 years later, the Freedom Writers are still together and still changing the world one word at a time.
Oh, it doesn't get any better than that, right? The nerdy English teacher in me is dying inside whenever you OG freedom riders read your stories. But what's more important is when you encourage young people to read your stories. So what is that like, Tony, when you're in a room, just literally right before graduation, we were in Snowline and Melvin was fighting back those tears, and I didn't fight them back. I just like wept. But seeing those young middle school boys really feeling it, what's it like for you to stand beside him and he's reading and they're reading, and it's like this almost like a kumbaya moment.
Mhm. Well, they think that they're the only ones that are going through the things that they're going through. And when you feel like you're the only one, then that means you can't share it with anybody. And a lot of us were raised that whatever happens in the home stays in the home, right? You don't share, you don't tell anybody. And
Mhm.
when I was a kid, my mom told me very specifically, don't tell white people, don't tell your teachers like that you're home alone all day. Don't tell them that your dad drinks. Don't tell them any of this stuff. So then you have that in your mind, like I can't share this, I can't say it
Mhm.
because you guys are the enemy. And when they see somebody like Melvin reading his story, first of all, that guy looks like me. He's gone through the same things I've gone. He's okay with being vulnerable, and he's okay, and he's all right. He made it on the other side, and that kind of gives them permission to go a little deep and be a little bit more in touch as well.
I love that. Let's put up a picture of Melvin of the now and his beautiful son Matthew, and their gorgeous mama bear, his wife. And what I love is oftentimes when we do lives, I'm not even kidding. Matthew is the first person who donates. He is a recipient of the Freedom Rider Scholarship, and he'll be on these lives. And he'll donate $30. He'll donate 50. It's amazing. It's this power of paying it forward. He is in his second year of school. While we were driving up the 15 in my little lawnmower, Melvin told me that his son has straight A average at Long Beach City College and will be transferring to California State University, Long Beach soon. So amazing. So our Freedom Rider scholars go on to do very big, very bold things, which leads me to a mama bear who's in the chat room right now. She declared herself Brenda Zambrano reporting for duty. Her son, Ernie, is going to be one of our recipients this year. And boy, oh boy, is that boy handsome. Oh, he's a looker. Um, and Brenda, prior to joining, I needed to declare to all of our watchers, listeners, that Carlos called me this morning, and Carlos is donating some merch for Ernie specifically. He said, Mama, I want to buy a sweatshirt and a hat for Ernie. So I want to put on the screen what the sweatshirt and the hat looks like. But we want Ernie to have all of the merch. And so we're going to let Ernie choose the color of the sweatshirt that he wants, black or white, the color of the hat. But guess what? Ernie needs a shirt. So if anybody wants to buy Ernie a shirt, one of our scholarship recipients, and Mama Bear, you can't. You just get to be the recipient of said items, of said swag. But if somebody wants to complete the trifecta, pay it forward. Buy sweet Ernie a shirt because Carlos already bought the sweatshirt. Carlos bought the shirt. And now he needs the t-shirt. And maybe somebody else could buy merch for other kids. Love it. Bill Fever's in the house. He also has a hat. You handsome devil, you silver fox. Tony, show off your hat. Show off your shirt. I got my hat. I got my shirt. Show him the back, Tony, without knocking everything down. I love it. So at some point, Bill, we'll have to figure out on the 4:00 call to show off Bill and his hat. Bill sent me a picture of his hat, and I don't know how to do that from here. I'm not allowed to touch anything. That's the rules. I can sit here, I just can't touch anything. So trust me, in my phone, I got a picture of Bill Fever who did the pre-sale, and he's wearing his hat all the way in Illinois, looking like the handsome devil that he is. So on your screen, you can purchase merch for yourself, for a scholar, for someone you know, or you could just skip Starbucks or McDonald's today. Or there's see, I didn't even touch it. I wished it and willed it into the universe. Look at our silver fox. Oh my God. Like Bill, be still my heart, Bill Fever. The very first Freedom Rider teacher we ever selected, and he will be a Freedom Rider teacher for the better part of forever. An award-winning educator, and he's like my papa. So happy belated Father's Day to my beloved Bill Fever, rocking the shirt through the streets of Illinois. I love it. I love it. Tony, would you like to see another Freedom Rider? And then I'm going to pull another name from my little bag of tricks. Once again, I've got names in here. I'm going to pull names. Jesus Holguin was my last recipient. There are more names to be declared and celebrated. So before we do that, I saw on the screen that Brenda said thank you to Carlos. So we're going to celebrate Carlos. He's like this big teddy bear. He's very needy. I'm very needy. So in our mutual codependency, he's my hot date to the Italian restaurant down the street. The most generous financial freedom rider that we have. He's always chipping in for the cause. So he chipped in this morning for the sweatshirt and the shirt for Ernie. I might have to hit him up for Erica's son too, because come on, we got to be fair and equitable in this here establishment. But what we're going to see is this big burly badass. He goes there, and in this 1 minute clip, oh my God, I was trying to hand him very subtly as we were recording the podcast, like dainty little Kleenex. And Carlos was not feeling the Kleenex. He actually got these like big pieces of like paper towels, and you'll see him. It's hard and painful. But Tony, you and sweet Carlos have been in rooms. I remember when we were at the school in Moreno Valley. Mm-hmm. It was you, it was Melvin, it was Narada, and it was Carlos. It was nothing short of a Saturday night version of Scared Straight. But Carlos, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he just emotes. So it's ironic that he's got daughters that were scholarship recipients. But what is it like when something clicks in Carlos and there's a memory or a moment and he gets lost and he can't just have the lump in his throat and he can't just pull out the tears that are running? What is that like for you standing beside him? Because sometimes you just kind of rub his back, and sometimes you just, do the bro hug with him. So what's it like when he goes to that place and you're standing side by side?
Well, first of all, we didn't have Kleenex growing up. So we don't like our Kleenex growing up were decorations. They were for like guests, so we weren't allowed to touch those. So we always reach for the paper towel.
Oh, gotcha.
Right? If you want to blow your nose, you grab the paper towel because the Kleenex are for guests. All right, so that's how you did that.
And sleeves work well as well, right?
Yeah, but the thing about Carlos going there is like he is such a tough, strong dude that when he goes there, it doesn't help but to bring you there as well. And the thing about it is that like for Carlos, like if you say, I know people who didn't make it. It's not hyperbole. Like we know people who didn't make it.
Yeah.
We know plenty of people who are in jail, who are dead, who are, not around anymore for stupid things, for little dumb stupid things. And Carlos has way too many examples of that. And I think that's why it hits him so hard, because he is the one in a million that not just made it out, but is a success and is doing things to give back and to help out. He hires so many people. He helps out so many people. And I feel like that's what really gets to him is thinking back on like how easily he could have become one of those examples as well.
Exactly. And what we're going to show and why I love that he calls me Mama G is, he was abandoned as a baby. He was in that class when that note was being passed. For many folks who've seen the feature film, you were led to believe, with the optical illusion of Hollywood, that it was Carlos who drew it. even though it was Melvin, but in the mashup of the movie and Freedom Riders, you're led to believe that a Latino student drew the note picking on Sherrod, who was African American. And in reality, it was a rivalry between Melvin and Sherrod. And Carlos just leaned in. He's like, great, that's a free for all. It's a brawl. Let's pass it. Let's laugh. So in the scene, what is really tender is him talking about being abandoned and not having his mother in those formative years. I was not aware when I first met him that he had been abandoned. So in this scene, you're going to feel it. You're going to see him reaching for the paper towels and trying to push me away and push away this problem. Let's check out Carlos so that on the other side, we can do a shout out to his beautiful daughters. This is Carlos on our podcast, the father of 2 scholarship recipients. What does that mean when someone says, I don't want him? That must go to the core of who you are.
This is why I don't like talking about this because it's
Still fresh.
re- remember I told you, Miss G, was I an ugly baby when I was born? And you said, no, why? Well, why else would my mom left me? And she didn't leave her other kids, and she left me. And even though I was a good kid, I just don't understand why my family would treat me the way they would treat me. I would hear them saying, "Oh, he looks like his mom," and they didn't like my mom. And I would get treated like shit, part of me because I look like my mom. They knew now that I'm a dad and my daughters were growing up, when they were 11 years old, I was like, man, I was that age when my grandma passed away. How 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 would they treat me at 11 years old? They would treat a little kid like that because now I know that they weren't good people. Even though now that I still talk to some of them, I don't hold grudges against them. But I really believe in karma and paying everything in life. And that's why I say, you know what? That's why I put up what I had to put up with my marriage because I didn't want my daughters going through that or somebody else mistreating them. And that's why I had to put up with what I had to for them because I didn't want them going through for what I went through.
Mm. Okay, you can't come to a Freedom Rider Live and not have a little bit of emotion. Whew. It was hard to be in that room asking and recording that podcast. It's even harder for me to watch. But I love that he and all of you Freedom Riders have committed. Every time we sit down with you guys, it's a tabla rasa, and you guys go there. You've gone there, Tony. So what's that like seeing your brother? And it's hard to be that man and Mama G's asking you questions and suddenly you're weeping and you know that the audience will as well. Yes. So that was actually a question, Tony.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't. I apologize. It kind of froze on me a little bit.
We'll treat it as a rhetorical question. You were nodding, and I was like waiting for it, waiting for you to say something really pithy and profound, and it was crickets. So
No,
you know what we're gonna do?
and whenever we sit down to record these things, I think it's double like difficult because when we're speaking to kids, we have them in front of us and we can see the impact. But to be vulnerable like that and then it actually being recorded where everybody else can see it, and then the people that we talk about sometimes, like I talk about my dad and I talk about like my dad drinking and all that stuff. And then, people think that like, my dad is this like monster and my dad's great. He's nice, but he's also 75 now, he's not in his 30s anymore. And, and enough time has gone by where a lot of things have gotten fixed and things have come full circle, but it's still important to talk about that things and like for us and also for the people that need to hear it at that moment.
Absolutely. Well, let's put Carlos's daughters on the screen. And what's very exciting, one of his daughters is tooting around the country. She is tooting around the country as a flight attendant with United. I'm always hoping, with as much as I fly, that I'm going to see her, and I haven't seen her yet. And that is Sophie, the flight attendant now. Melanie graduated from Cal State Long Beach, and she is going to go back for her master's. So two of his daughters, his two daughters, are both scholarship recipients and have done great things. What I want to do is put on the screen your opportunities. Thank you, Karen Palantine, for just donating. So if you're donating, we'll do a shout out to you. So you can either donate cash, skip McDonald's, In-N-Out, or Starbucks for a day, donate $5, donate $10, donate $15, or you can buy some merch. So there is a donate on the screen, and then I'm going to put the merch back on the screen. And if you want to pay it forward for a friend, for a Freedom Rider Scholar, there's shirts, there's hats, there's sweatshirt. Let's put that back up on the screen. I want to do a shout out to some of our Freedom Rider teachers who are in this space. Hello to Rochelle Wright and Narada, who's an OG Freedom Rider. Sup, Narada, I need you to come back at 4 because we're going to do a little shout out of your scholarship recipient. So if you come back at 4 with your wife, we will definitely do a shout out to our sweet Navon, because I know Maddie was here earlier, and I hope you guys can tune back in when we celebrate Navon. But right now, in my little fishbowl, I'm going to pull out a name. I'm going to pull out a name. I'm going to pull out a name, someone who is watching, and boop, boop, boop. It is Michelle. Michelle Size from Moreno Valley. Michelle, if you are still in the chat room, I know you were there earlier. You can get either the journal that is leather bound and it is white, or Tony has the engraved. So if you let us know which one you want, and like a heat-seeking missile, we're going to put it in the mail and send it to you. Something is in the water in Moreno Valley, because our first recipient was Jesus Holguin. Now we got Michelle. We have a lot of Freedom Rider love in Moreno Valley. So if you are in the chat room, stay, announce yourself. In 15 minutes, I'm going to pull another. So I got all kinds of names that are folks that are here and chatting and donating. People are buying merch. People are donating instead of going to Starbucks today, even $5. If 5 of you do $5, then I can get another hat for somebody. If you just don't eat out for lunch, and that's $10, if like 3 of you make a sandwich at home, then I can get another hat for a kid. So whatever you donate and pay forward for yourself or for another, you are helping a cause, and that are these beautiful, beautiful kids. So Tony, are you ready to see
Yes.
another Freedom Rider, another OG that has a Freedom Rider recipient?
Yes, let's
Okay.
do it. I'm so excited.
And if you come back at 4, we're going to have new Freedom Riders, new stories, new scholarship recipients. Our next Freedom Rider OG is Shanita. And what we're going to do is we're going to show a really fun video that we show when we go to classrooms. And our twins, Shanita and Shanette, their specialty, ironically, is going to Michelle's school in Moreno Valley. We called them the baby kids. They were 4th and 5th graders, and they were just a little bit naughty, a little bit rambunctious, full of love. And our girls, Shanita and Shanette, love these kids back to life. Boy, oh boy, do we miss going to Edgemont Elementary School. But when they walk in, they just bring joy and love. So the fact that Shanita, as well as Shanette, were the recipients of a scholarship, their children are recipients of the scholarship. Let's check out the joy that Shanita brings to any class, to any situation, as she brings our feature film to life. Let's check out Shanita.
When you have a celebration, whether if it's a birthday, a bar mitzvah, or no matter what it is, you give me a beat and you got me. I think the scene where we're actually all, celebrating and dancing, to see us all together as family, that's what we all were searching for. Nobody paid that much attention to us. For so long, we had to be someone else. We had to put up that front or that facade because we were holding back what we didn't want anyone to know. And then we were able to break those walls down. Just being ourselves, we were able to literally celebrate that. And I think that scene in the movie where you actually see us all dancing and teaching Miss G how to do the electric slide, that's us completely. We dance, we act silly, we sing songs, no worries in the world. That was our home right there, room 203, and that's what we made it. I love it. Hollywood has its own take on it, and then we have our take, and I think it was a good blend. What we went through is there. Now we have the whole world that can actually watch us. To be able to share that with someone else, I could actually say my legacy lives on because of that. And as long as I know I could make one person, whether it's here or around the world, feel like they're not alone in this, then, you know, it's like, job well done.
She's your girl. Oh my God. Her
Love
and her
that
twin
clip.
sister that I to this day, these identical twin sisters, I still to this day have a problem telling them apart. After 30 years, you'd think I'd get it. But having her in a room, any room, but especially elementary school kids, that is magic. That is magic. So I want to fill up the screen with all of their family members when their family, both Sheena and Jeanette, came together to be look at those scholarship recipients. Oh my goodness. Think about if every single person got a hat in that picture. There's freedom riders in those pictures. There's grandmas, there's friends, there's family that was at the office, our old office. I just love it. So right now, take out your phone, buy a hat, buy a shirt, help us donate to our Freedom Rider recipients. You can buy them a hat, show them your hat, Tony. They can buy a shirt. They can buy a sweatshirt. You can buy it for yourself. You can buy it for one of our recipients. We have Darius Garrett, who's an OG Freedom Rider in the house, saying that's beautiful. Darius, you can buy one of these hats or shirts for your daughters, and you've got 4. Or you could say, I want to buy a shirt or a hat for Darius. He's got 4. We just want to pay it forward, pay the love forward. So there is a QR code for hats, shirts, and sweatshirts. There is a donation QR code for our scholarship recipients this year, recent high school graduates who are headed out into the world to do big, bold, and beautiful things. Big, bold, and beautiful things. So make sure that you're announcing yourself. If you announce yourself in the chat room, your name is going to go into my little fishbowl, and we have one more journal to give away this hour. And then you're going to run screaming into your homes, your offices, and say, hey, everybody, join us at 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, come back. New storytellers, new scholarship recipients, much more merch to give away. Bill Fever just donated. Bill Fever has a hat. Bill Fever just donated. And Bill Fever, guess what? He is in my fishbowl. So if I pull him out, he might get a journal. So in a couple minutes, I'm gonna pull another name out of my fishbowl, and it could be Bill. Who knows? He is in the fishbowl. So if you are announcing yourself through donating or buying some merch or writing in the chat room or coming back at 4, many more things to give. Like you give to us, so we just want to pay it forward to you as well. So we thank you for that. Tony, we got enough time for one more Freedom Rider.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Show me your shirt. My hair keeps. I don't have it on the side. There it is. There's my little pencil. Oops, there it is. There's my pencil. Show me your pencil. Perfect.
And these are like the thin bamboo kind of really nice like temperature shirts. These are fantastic. It's not just a regular old t-shirt. It's a really nice.
I wish I had like that, like a fan pointing right at me because I'm hot because I'm nervous. But you know what? I'm going to take your word for it. That it is the good quality.
It's the one that keeps you cool is the thin ones. Like these are the really good ones, like to work out or to go on a walk or something. These are great.
I just got to keep this when we go to lunch. I just can't get anything on this shirt because we've got a 4:00 call with our scholarship recipients. I got to just make sure that I keep this white shirt pristine. Black hat, white shirt, white hat, black shirt, sweatshirts at all. We just didn't want to wear the sweatshirts because we would be sweating. Yeah. Do a little pose, Tony. Make them all. Oh, that's like do your best blue steel. Ooh. We don't call him Pretty Tony without cause. There's a reason. There's a reason that Cynthia Ray, OG Freedom Writer, gave you the nickname Pretty Tony, and it stuck. It stuck. So if you're watching on the screen, there's a place for you to donate. There's a place for you to get merch. Pay it forward. Pay it forward. We're going to show one more Freedom Writer, and I'm going to do one more drawing. And which is really exciting is this is the mama bear of all of your love. I know Brenda is in the chat room and she said hello, and Ernie is now the recipient from Carlos of a sweatshirt and a hat. But her sister from another Mr. Erica, her sweet son Joshua is also going to be a recipient. And so what I want to do is I want to show a very sweet video of Erica, and then we're going to flash Joshua's face on the screen, and then you guys are going to figure out how do we bestow him with his own hat, his own shirt, his own sweatshirt. But you and Erica have been friends since you were 14, Tony. You were in my class before she transferred into my class. You were there from the very, very beginning. She transferred in. She was in that fancy classroom across the hall where they just thought they were too cool for school. So I know she's going to talk about what was that other classroom across the hall that thought they were too good for us?
The Distinguished Scholars.
Yeah. So for someone like yourself who walked into Miss G's room 203, she was across the hall. What was that contrast?
I tell her she wasn't smarter than us. She was just better at homework.
Oh, she's pretty damn smart. Pretty damn smart. But what was going on in that other classroom that made us kind of recoil?
They
Exclusion.
they would get all the good stuff that we wouldn't get. They get all the brand new books. They had the new desks. They had like the bigger TV. Like we had the little TV on the wheels. We had to like sign a sheet to get it. They had an actual TV in their classroom.
Yes, they did.
So we were hating a little bit.
And demographically, they were predominantly all Caucasian students, right?
Yes.
With the exception of Erica in one class.
Erica and Tanya.
Erica and Tanya in separate classes. So let's check out Little Miss Smarty Pants, who is now Mama Bear Smarty Pants, and the child that she has raised and loved on is also our recent recipient this June. So let's check out Erica talking about that class across the hall.
My freshman year of high school, I was in the Distinguished Scholars Program. I was one of like 2 Latinas in the class. I felt overlooked a lot. The teacher didn't really engage me. The difference with Freedom Writers is I felt like I belonged, and that Aaron cared about me and us, and Freedom Writers, we cared about each other. So it made me feel safe and seen and good. My favorite scene is the back to school night. Aaron was standing at the door and waiting for parents of Freedom Writers to show up, and no one did. Across the hall was the Distinguished Scholars class, and you could see the teacher there greeting and talking with all of the parents of the Distinguished Scholars students that showed up. Tell her she was a little disappointed that parents didn't show up. And so she comes back in the classroom and looks over to the cabinets on the wall or the closet. She had given us an option of when we wrote in our journals to put it either on the right side where she was allowed to read what we wrote, our stories, or on the left if they didn't want it to be read. She opens the right side and it's just full. So all the Freedom Writers had put it on the right side for her to be able to read. I like that scene because even though the parents didn't show up, we showed up for her through our journals. And so in that moment, I feel like she knew that The way that she was there for us, we were there for her. Room 203 wasn't just you go into an English class for 50 minutes and learn how to put sentences together and do a book report. It was our safe haven. We were much bigger than just classmates. We were family. We were brothers and sisters. I felt like she was seeing me.
Seeing me and see we do. Boy, oh boy, let's put a picture of Erica's sweet son on this. Oh, look at that face. Oh, beanies are for winners, Tony.
Beanies are for winners.
Beanies are for winners, especially when they say Freedom Rider Foundation. So if you are Freedom Rider teachers, we love to give prizes when we teach Freedom Rider teachers. We've got 2 institutes this very summer, June and July, and we have ordered some beanies because let's face it, beanies are for winners.
We don't give out beanies just willy-nilly. You gotta earn them. You gotta earn them.
They are coveted merch. You can't buy a beanie today.
You can't buy a beanie.
You gotta win. But
we don't believe in participation trophies. We believe in winners.
Winner, chicken dinner. But what you can do is you could buy a hat, you could buy a shirt, you could buy a sweatshirt. So let's put Joshua's face back on that screen. And if you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, he's delicious. He is delicious. He is going to a university in Massachusetts. So Mama Bear's got to figure out, how do I get out there to see my boy? I offered the first airline ticket for Erica from my secret stash of points, since I fly a time or 2 every other week. But think about this scholarship. Mama Bear's got to go visit her boy in Massachusetts. He's got to come home on the holidays. So when we give these scholarships, they are unrestricted. However they choose to use these scholarships, if it's for an airline ticket, if it's for food, it's for books, whatever sweet Joshua wants to use this for. But let's send him to Massachusetts with a sweatshirt. Somebody that is watching now might say, I want that sweet boy in those cold Massachusetts winters. He might need a sweatshirt. He might need a hat to battle the elements. Announce thyself if you say, I'm going to buy that sweet boy a sweatshirt. I'm going to buy that boy a hat. Let us know in the chat room and we will do a shout out. And so without further ado, if you did not announce yourself in the chat room, you're not in the drawing. And if you didn't get picked this time, come back at 4 Pacific time. There'll be another set of presents and prizes. But I'm ready for the 3rd and final name to be pulled. Okay, here we go. Closing my eyes. I'm closing my eyes. Here we go. You're going to see this hot off the press. Rochelle Wright. Oh my God. This is like a trifecta. Not planned. 3 Merino Valley Freedom Rider teachers today. Our first one, who was the very first one, another handsome belt. Jesus Holguin was first. Michelle Science was second. And now Rochelle Wright. Ooh, if you're living in another city or state, you might feel a little salty. What is in the Merino Valley water? I'll tell you, love and devotion to the Freedom Rider cause. So I want to say a sweet shout out to our 3 winners. Let's hold up what Rochelle, Jesus, and Michelle are going to get. They're going to get a little journal, either black and white or an engraved black one. So we will send that out along with hugs and kisses. But before you leave and run through the streets, run through your house, run through your office and set clocks and say, we're coming back at 4 for the drawing. Take out your phone. Go to either QR code. One is you can donate money. One, you can donate merch. One, you could purchase merch for yourself. A special shout out to Darius. Big D in the house. Tony and Darius, fun fact, were roommates out of college in Buffalo, New York, when they worked for AmeriCorps Vista. Darius just donated money. So thank you, Darius, for paying it forward to your Freedom Rider brothers and sisters. With 4 girls, we're going to have 4 scholarships to give to your girls when they are of age. So please take out your phone, donate to the cause. 100% of donation. Oh, look at that. 100% of the donations in the merch. The proceeds will go to the scholarship recipients. All of your donations, if you don't just donate directly, will go to our scholars. Sweet Joshua. Let's put Joshua back on that screen. Oh my God. He's yummy. Oh, look at that. I mean, like, let's be honest. Mama Bear is pretty yummy as well. But boy, oh boy, look at that boy. I want to squeeze him. I want to squeeze him. And I am heading. Oh my God, Erica. I'm heading to Massachusetts with Nico in August. And I know he's heading to Massachusetts in July. So we might just have to pop in, take him to dinner, get him a nice meal while we are when we are in Massachusetts. Okay, my sweet Freedom Rider friends, my Freedom Rider teachers, and my OG Freedom Riders, thank you for spending the better part of an hour with us. Set your clock now. I'm pretending that I'm wearing a watch. I don't wear watches, but set your clock now. Tony got a birthday watch. Tony just had a birthday. Tony's going to set his watch early because Tony's going to be my co-host yet again. We're going to have some new Freedom Riders to share and their children who were scholarship recipients. And if you want to come back and bring a colleague, a family member, a friend, don't go to Starbucks. It's like when you're playing Monopoly, don't pass go, collect that $200. Don't go to Starbucks today and donate $5. $5. Make a sandwich tomorrow and donate $5. Don't go to dinner on Friday night and donate a little bit more. Oh, Narada sup. Narada said earlier sup. Narada, we're going to celebrate your boy. We're going to celebrate your boy at 4. So tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your family, come back at 4. And we'll see you all then. Thanks, everybody. Spread the love.